This old guy DIY video has to do with removing the starter on a 1984 Johnson 28 horse electric start motor. So I've been helping a friend try and diagnose an issue with lack of fuel delivery. So we need to get to the carburetor, and to get to the carburetor we have to remove a bolt over here and a bolt on this side that we cannot get to without removing the starter. So I checked a few things on YouTube last night. Looks like we have to pull these two bolts here off. This one, we'll take the solenoid out so we can reach a bolt that comes in from down here. And basically we're going to dig into it now, and I'll just shoot the video as we go. All right, we're starting this adventure. In this piece here, you just remove this one bolt and we drop that back out of the way so we could get that little strap and two bolts that went here. So we got those little guys out. Now we're going to get this one, and then we'll pull the solenoid out of the way so we can come down here on the bottom edge. So the solenoid just pulls out of that little receptacle there. Now we're going to pull out this bolt and this bolt over here that has all the grounds. So after taking everything off of this ground stud, we can get down into this bolt head, and he'll take that one out now with an open end wrench. Now with the bolts out over here, we can wiggle this thing and it's like a little kid's tooth, so it's getting loose. If you come around to the front of the motor, you can see this nut right here. So with the 7/16 ratchet, he's going to hit that one now. Before we remove that, we'll come down here to the front of the starter and remove this nut and the cable that comes to it. It'll be easier to crank on this thing before we've broken the starter loose from the block. So after removing that nut from the front, in fact it brought a threaded stud with it, but the entire bracket is loose now. And we'll just take the positive off here to take the starter out of the way. And you see we have access to the carburetor. So that was the goal. We're almost there. So the starter is out. Now we have access to the nut here and the nut on the other side. We're just going to remove this linkage, simply pull that out. Now we can remove those two nuts and take the carburetor out. So we have the carburetor off. Now it's the moment of truth. We just have to remove these 4 screws from the back, and hopefully when we pull this bottom section of the carburetor off, it's going to have a bunch of gunk in there that looks like boogers. Well, I'm encouraged as we open this up. You can see the boogers and debris down here on the bottom, and when we get over here where the fuel actually flows up into the jets, we have a bunch of crap there. So that's all encouraging to me. We pulled the carb off. We found what we were hoping for, a bunch of gunk in there. Cleaned it out, blew it out, put it back on the engine. Now we're going to put the starter back on, button this thing back up, and see if it'll take off.